This is 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗁𝗲 from Trade University. I wanted to wish you all a happy 2023, and I wanted to talk about today Ethereum getting delisted from Paxful. This is actually an old story from a couple days ago when I was on vacation, but I think it's a great summary and a great review of many of the points that we covered last year about the key differences between Bitcoin and everything else, especially Ethereum. So there's this online service called Paxful that allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin and some other crypto using various payment methods. I don't necessarily recommend them. They do KYC on you, but as I understand it, they are used globally, and I believe they're especially used in Africa. So this is an interesting company to follow, and it's especially interesting based on what has happened in December, what happened in December of 2022. It all started with this tweet from 𝗕𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗺, who's the founder and CEO of Satoshi's Journal and a nonprofit called Fix the Money, Fix the World. And he tweeted, "As an engineer, I understand that ETH is a very poorly designed protocol that does not follow first principles. ETH will fail because it has too many variables. ETH is a foundation of sand. Bitcoin is a foundation of granite." And this is one of the metaphors we've been using over the past couple years to talk about the differences and how Bitcoin is really focused on that base layer and making it a foundation of granite, while Ethereum has sort of jumped from one idea to another and then finally moved to proof of stake, making it a foundation of sand to build on top of. So that's the background tweet. And then what happened is a guy named Ray Youssef, who's the founder of Paxful, basically responded to 𝗕𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗁𝗲 saying, "Working to remove ETH from our marketplace. Revenue is nice, but integrity trumps all." This was December 11th, 2022. And then just a few days later, Ray announced that they finally kicked Ethereum off of their marketplace, off of Paxful. 11.6 million humans safer, integrity over revenue. Who is next? And so we're going to go through and take a look at these attachments here. That I believe is Ray Youssef. So here are the reasons that Ray cited for removing Ethereum from Paxful. And again, this is a small story, but I think it's interesting for the principles and for extrapolating the trend. Here are the reasons why I, Ray Youssef, am removing ETH from Paxful. ETH switched from proof of work to proof of stake, which we covered extensively last year, especially around the time of the merge. Proof of work is the innovation that makes Bitcoin the only honest money there is, whereas proof of stake has rendered ETH essentially a digital form of fiat. And I think that's true. And when you hear ETH, you really should think just another scammy form of fiat. Here's a second reason that Ray gave. ETH is not decentralized. It is controlled by a small group of people, and one day you will need permission to use it. This will get worse and worse, and I agree with Ray here. We've talked about 𝗕𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗁𝗲 many times. Over the past day, 67% of blocks have been enforcing U.S. Treasury OFAC compliance. This means you can still get your transactions through on a third of the blocks, but as simply because proof of stake is so centralizing, this is a trend that is going to get worse and worse. So this is already happening. The problem, of course, the fundamental sin, the primal sin of Ethereum is having this pre-mine and then switching to proof of stake. So you have the beneficiaries of the pre-mine who are behind much of the staking and really have control, as well as you have the bully pulpit that Vitalik wields, and he's able to basically push through changes to the protocol that he wants. So that's the second reason ETH is not decentralized. The third reason that Ray gives, ETH had some utility on real use cases such as credit and lending, but it thrives because of tokenization. The tokens that ETH has spawned have been scams that have robbed people of billions. And this is correct. If you want to see the sad litany of people getting wrecked, you can go to wrecked.news, which I'll link to below, and you can see all the different rug pulls, most of which have occurred on ETH. So I think that's true, and it's a great example of if you build your project on top of a highly insecure or unethical foundation, this is of course what you should expect to happen. The final part that he says is that by people using ETH and these other tokens, they've stolen valuable momentum away from Bitcoin and cost us years on our mission. And this is one of the arguments I've been making over the past few years. People say, why do you hate shitcoins and altcoins? Why do you hate Ethereum? The reason I hate them is because not only are they unethical and they benefit just a small group of insiders, but they are delaying our mission. And as 𝗕𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗁𝗲 talked about in that article that I covered in this video, we are in a very precarious situation, and we need to get as many people in the US to become true Bitcoiners to own Bitcoin and to vote with their feet using Bitcoin. Otherwise, we're going to end up in a war with the U.S. government. And so to the extent that altcoins like Ethereum delay Bitcoin adoption and distract people and muddy the water, they're highly, highly unethical projects. And it's great to see Ray recognize this as well. They've cost us years on our mission. The other thing he cites at the beginning of his tweet is one of the things that makes him get up in the morning and run Paxful is he's very worried about the global south, South America, Africa, for example, and economic apartheid, all these people who are unbanked. And he says in that tweet that he wants to see, quote, a world where Bitcoin frees billions of people held back by this evil system, especially those unnecessarily harmed living in the global south. And he believes, as do I, that only Bitcoin can bring this about. It's not going to be Cardano. It's not going to be Ethereum. It's not going to be Hex. It's not going to be XRP, all of which are highly centralized insider projects. Only Bitcoin is neutral, decentralized, ethical, honest money. And so we can contrast what Paxful and Ray Youssef are doing with a company that's going in the wrong direction. We covered late last year Casa Keys adding support for Ethereum. This is definitely the wrong direction to go. And as a result, I would encourage you not to support Casa anymore. Paxful is definitely taking the right direction. And they're doing it for smart business reasons as well. The writing is really on the wall for Ethereum. Here's this article that I've linked to late last year. CFTC chief says Bitcoin is the only commodity in the wake of the FTX collapse. And there's regulation coming down the pike for proof of stake tokens, especially like Ethereum. And so to the extent you run a company like Paxful or Casa, you'd like to avoid trading in unregistered securities. This is just good business practice. As I said, the writing is on the wall for Ethereum. Will 2023 be the year when they're required to file an S1 or the equivalent disclosures, the equivalent crypto disclosures with the SEC? Again, this doesn't just involve having to pay a fine to the SEC. This involves a serious disclosure of information. If you don't disclose material information and you're someone like Vitalik or Joe Lubin, you'll end up going to jail. If you do disclose it, investors are going to see all the related party transactions, all the unethical behavior, all the insider self-dealing. You're going to see how much ETH everyone owns. Maybe it turns out that Vitalik has sold a lot of his ETH. You'll see a lot of really bad things. And then Ethereum investors will flee like rats from a sinking ship. This is the real problem with Ethereum becoming classified as a security or something equivalent with the SEC and having to file disclosures. It's not going to be pretty. And there's a reason that companies like Ethereum, software companies like Ethereum, because that's basically what it is, even though it pretends not to be. There's a reason they went the route of an ICO in Switzerland. They're trying to skirt US government regulation, which they can't though. If you're going to sell these tokens and have them trade on US exchanges, if you're going to sell them to US investors like they did to Jack Mallers' mother or mother-in-law, he tells the story on Twitter, you're going to end up being classified as a security by the SEC. And so this is the reason Ethereum tried to avoid this. And now they're going to be forced back into registration at some point. I don't know if it's going to be 2023 or 2024, but it is going to be a very ugly thing when it happens. So I think Paxful and Ray Youssef are definitely taking the smart business choice here. Wanted to wish you all a happy 2023. Nature is healing. Paxful is kicking Ethereum off their platform. And I look forward to see what other companies take the lead from Ray Youssef and Paxful. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.